welcome back. I apologize for always sitting in my child's room for when I film when I'm not doing something in the kitchen, and it's literally because of the lighting situation, and it's a lot quieter in here. Not important. So today we're going to talk about all things dietetics. Now, if you don't know, which I'm sure you do in some capacity, I was actually a trained dietitian. I did my 4-year degree plus honours. I did embedded honours. I can't remember when I think I started in 2016, and I practiced for a bit, but I obviously didn't keep doing it. But my point is that yes, I am a trained dietitian, and I don't have the title of a practicing dietitian, but I can still call myself a dietitian. It's like all the legalities. And so I wanted to share about like what the experience was like going through dietetics and having an eating disorder. And at the time, I'll be honest, I wasn't aware I had a problem because it masked in so well with what I was doing. And then I've literally written a list of like things that were messed up in the degree. And then I asked you guys what you want to know. So let's do that. I do have a brownie to bake as well because we can't not talk dietetics and not cook something. So we're going to do that in a minute. And my camera is running flat as always. I have it charging. So it's literally taken me like 2 weeks to get to this point where I can film again because it just, nothing bad, just couldn't be bothered in the sense that I was just tired all the time. But why am I like whispering? Anyway, we are in our kitchen. We have our brownies to make. They are a vegan, gluten-free one. They are actually delicious. Like, I've made it for so many events, and this is what everyone always asks for. And it's literally, I just gotta add vegan spread, so like a vegan butter and water. So we're gonna do that. But let's get them in the oven because I think they take ages to cook. And then we will chat dietetics. Still hungry after lunch. We have our cake tin, which is round because I don't have a square one. And we do, was it 5 tablespoons of spread melted? Okay, so we've got our mix. I used to like make everything from scratch, but you know, I don't have time for that. Or the hands usually. But then because Jessie's home today that I can. And we add our chocolate chips. Oh no, I lost some. Chocolate chips. And we add our... Oh, I meant to use an electric mixer. Oh well. That's not happening. Water. Butter. I actually hate butter, like, as a spread, but it's good in cooking. And apparently I'm meant to electric mix this, but that's not going to happen either. It never has before, so it's not going to happen now. Who needs an electric mixer when you've got these muscles? So I'm actually making this, I think, for families tomorrow who haven't seen, who are like meeting our little one for the first time. They requested it. But I really want to get into cake making. Like, I'm obsessed with it at the moment because it looks like fun. So I've got to slowly get all the utensils and ingredients and go from there. That's like completely irrelevant to anything, but let's pour this and cook it. We have a mix, and now we're just going to put it in the oven once it's ready. But of course, the inaugural. So that is cooking now, and please excuse my hair. I haven't been able to wash it properly a week because baby, hey Dusty, I might or might not be sitting on his bed. But anyway, brownie is in the oven. We're good to go. So, being a dietitian. So I'm not going to go into like all the legalities or anything because like boring, but just for reference, a dietitian is a legal qualification. It is an allied health professional, and it is someone who can work clinically with nutrition. So work with sick people and nutrition, which is very different to a nutritionist, which isn't a legally protected term in Australia. They can't work clinically. So a dietitian can be a nutritionist, but nutritionists can't be a dietitian. Anyway, I went and did dietetics. So I did 4 years of study. It was a long 4 years, and I did my embedded honours, so honours during my study, during my final year, which is the same year we do placement. We don't actually do any placement until the 4th year. Now, I don't know if that's the same with every program, but the one I did, that was in Australia, it is like governed by a higher body and they choose the curriculum, so it's probably pretty similar everywhere. But yeah, my reasoning for doing dietetics is I was encouraged to because I had a keen interest in food and exercise and nutrition. And look where that ended up. But during my studies, like I really genuinely enjoyed it. Now this was before COVID as well, so we had like in-person exams and like all this stuff that you don't see anymore. We didn't do much online. It was all in person. And it was good for like, we had a small cohort, so you got to know everyone really well and we had a lot of fun. But damn, did we do some messed up stuff. Like looking back now, like I don't know how everyone didn't leave with a problem kind of thing. But because healthy eating and like obsessing over food and stuff and exercise was normalized in the degree, it was kind of like easy to get away with having a problem, having an eating disorder. I genuinely didn't know I had a problem because it just seemed to just like work and people just thought I was so healthy and all this kind of stuff. But there was obviously a really big problem. The fact that I couldn't go a day without exercising multiple times and all my food was super controlled and stuff, but I got away with it. So the coursework itself, like if I go to my list of things that we did weirdly, like that were just like we shouldn't have done, I guess like one of the biggest like things that never happened in dietetics is we did not study eating disorders. You do not study them. In the 4 years you do it, you don't do it. We didn't do mental health back then either. We had like a counselling course, but not one focus on mental health. So I don't know if things have changed now. I hope they have. We had one slide in one lecture out of the 4 years we did it on eating disorders. Just let that sink in for a bit. So to work in that space as a dietitian, you do need to do extra training, but I can guarantee a lot of them haven't done enough. And I do think this is where lived experience can be really valuable because you can tell which ones don't know what they're doing. I'm not going to go into that, but yeah. So apart from that, some of the really whacked out things that we did, we did a calorie counting exam. Like literally, this was again like in-person exam, not online. I had to actually memorize things. We had a whole day's worth of food. We had to go in and we had all the numbers memorized and we had to calculate it. I still remember those numbers. Like this is why it took me so long to stop learning how to count calories, because you do get trained to work in serving sizes and then the equivalent calories. And the purpose of it was to be able to like someone to give you a diet history and you could mentally calculate it. But in reality, unless you're working with weight management, and even then like severe weight management, like severe on either end, I feel like you just don't need to worry about the calories. And now we're not going there. Because like that's really stuck with me. Like I could go inpatient and calculate all my food in one go because I've been trained to. And I just think that's so messed up. So, calorie counting exam. We did this thing called anthropometry, which, fancy word, I'll put it up here, is, from my understanding, we never really went into it. We did a whole class on it. But we would literally like pick people's skin folds and measure the fat percentage with these like little pinchy devices. If that doesn't mess with you, like I don't know what does. So yeah, anthropometry. We never actually learned what to do with the results either. And then they made us go and get a body scan of our fat percentage and we literally had it like mapped on a thing. So like I can see where problems started to occur. But yeah, you would literally get these we had Oh no, did we do it on Classmates? I think we did it on Classmates. We were literally like pinching in that and being like, oh, you have this much body fat and all this kind of stuff. And then the teacher doing it, he was like a sports dietitian, whatever. And he was a bit of a bodybuilder type, so he was pretty obsessive about it. And told us some really unhealthy habits that really like stuck with me and caused a lot of problems. So that definitely contributed to me becoming a lot more self-conscious. All right, and then we would get sent to the supermarket because there was like a shopping centre like across the road from the uni. And when we were doing like placement activities and they wanted us to like make resources and stuff, they would literally send us to the supermarket to read nutrition panels. So like the little panel that tells you what the nutrient values of everything is. We'd have to like go and read them, and they're like, so you know what products are better for this and better for that. And yeah, that like taught me how to just constantly read nutrition panels and like calories and all that stuff. And you know, it wasn't a good habit to get into because you didn't even see the food anymore. You just saw it as a bunch of numbers. Another favorite was the healthifying of every food that you ate. It was really big, especially because we went into COVID. So like you got into like recipe development, which was really common. And you know, a brownie couldn't just be a brownie. It had to be a protein brownie or a healthy brownie, like a sweet potato brownie or a black bean brownie. Or you had to have protein oats, and everyone was having protein powder. And it just was so unnecessary. Like there's literally no need for protein powders for like 95% of the population. Like there's studies done on this. I can prove it. I have the training. But unless you're like an elite athlete and literally don't get enough protein, all that protein powder stuff is just like a money maker scheme because your body just eliminates anything it doesn't use, which is most of it. Because most people aren't protein deficient. We're not talking about people who like have an eating disorder or are malnourished or something in the general healthy population. So yeah, there was that huge like, we need to make every recipe healthy. Like, oh, so you can have your donut, but it's healthy. Like, go away. Just let me enjoy my donut in peace. And again, that contributed so much to what my idea of health was and what a healthy food was. Like, honestly, me eating a brownie is so much healthier now than me eating some weird protein powder filled black bean brownie that really doesn't taste good. And believe me, I tried them. Or like using like weird like chickpea flour and stuff. It just doesn't work sometimes, but not every time. And of course, probably the biggest contributor to like mainly my problems, but probably a lot of people's and just the world in general, is that there was a huge weight management, we'll call it, focus. We didn't really learn how to help people with like eating disorders and stuff. But we learned how to help people lose weight, and I learned so many tricks and so many bad habits, and it became such an important focus. And they kept forcing BMI down our throats, even though like they kept telling us like, oh, BMI is bullshit, we don't believe in it. But here you've got to put it in your nutrition assessments of patients, and it's like, make it make sense. Like either don't use it or use it and just say that you're an idiot for using it. Like, so it was always about the weight loss end of things, and that's just, it's definitely not where I wanted to work. Like very rarely would someone come in for weight loss as a patient, but not only that, there was usually something going on behind it that we needed to manage more, which was psychological. And I found that people just made like easy changes, like eating more fruit and veg, and that helped them to get to the body they're meant to be at, rather than being like on a calorie deficit. And there was a lot of like calculating and stuff, which isn't realistic. It's not healthy, and it doesn't work in the real world. So that was one of the reasons I didn't continue doing like practicing as a dietitian, other than getting sick, but because I didn't agree with the methods, and you have to kind of go under these guidelines. I had so much more success when I just treated people as people and just like help them be healthier, not like lose weight as such. In saying that, like, you probably couldn't tell I had a severe problem at that point because I didn't look horrifically bad, and I know that's like a stereotype thing, but you know, to a patient coming, I was amazing with my patients. I was like all about balance and stuff like that with myself. Couldn't do it, but like I tell people like, I don't care what you eat on a cruise, I don't care what you eat on your birthday or Christmas Day, like enjoy your life. I just couldn't do it myself, and I think that would have been a big appeal to me, because I'm like, this is what I want. I want to enjoy life like you, but I'm so stuck. So they were some of the messed up things we did. And like, it still haunts me to this day. I can still remember numbers like that. And that's not a good thing. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I'm also a numbers person, which probably doesn't help. But yeah, I wouldn't go back to being a dietitian. I mean, I might work in different ways around nutrition, but I don't think I could ever go back, mainly because I don't agree with the way they practice. There's some amazing dietitians out there. There's also some really bad ones, like any profession. And I hope things have changed, like the way they teach and the way the focus is. It's not really on health or well-being, it's on, it's like there's this overarching theme of this like thin ideal and stuff. And there was a lot of people in like CrossFit and stuff at the time as well, so it wasn't the healthiest environment. So I've got your questions here. So would you ever consider practicing again? Lived experience hugely helps. Look, honestly, probably not, because why is it not focusing? I don't want to pay for the membership to be a dietitian again. I don't want to pay for the insurance. And I don't think I could practice in a way that I like morally agree with, because I would just get rid of the BMI and the excessive weight measurements. You need them clinically, yes, I get that. But I remember getting weighed and I didn't want to be weighed. I didn't want to know the number of my weight, and it damaged me every time, and they kept forcing me. And then they tell me what BMI I was, and I was like, can we stop with that? It's not helping. But they're like, no, it's required. Well, I'd like to help in a lived experience way, but I don't know how I can do that without practicing again, or maybe I could get into mentorship. I don't know. But I just feel like being a dietitian makes you so restricted in a way, and it's not necessarily healthy, and you do know that little bit too much about food. Dietitian myths, right or wrong? That, like, a lot of people call us the food police. We do a lot more than that. But honestly, like in an inpatient setting, I've lost my questions. Inpatient setting, there's not a lot a dietitian does, like especially in a hospital. Mental health ward's a bit different, but it was like you'd visit your patient for like 5 minutes, and in the outpatient setting you do a lot, but they're not allowed to do a lot of like counselling, like mental health stuff. You have to like obviously refer it to a psychologist. And it's not really a myth, but they're not the food police, but of course their focus is the food, because that's what they've trained for. And yeah, other than that, you'd have to probably write down some like myths and stuff you want me to bust, like soya's not bad for you kind of thing, because I went through all of that, especially being vegan. So yeah, you'll have to leave that one with me. Which dietitian fact you wish you had learned and want to share with other ED patients? Probably, despite the way we were trained, your body isn't a calculator. You've got your textbook of what calories are, with how the body digests things, with how much you burn, or like your numbers on your watches and stuff like that, but that doesn't actually reflect what happens in real life. And I'm hoping we're moving away from that kind of focus. Like, it's that like measurement is so generic. Like, don't listen to your Apple Watch. Don't read into numbers so much, because your body digests it so differently. Like, the numbers don't mean anything. They shouldn't even be there in many ways. I get ingredients lists, but maybe not the rest of the numbers so much. So yeah, just your body's not a calculator. It's not a textbook. It's not going to work the way it's written. So don't pressure yourself to meet these unrealistic standards. And yeah, obviously the BMI thing. We don't listen to that because it's not accurate. Was there one specific thing, a misinformation that you had a huge part in your ED? Probably the calories thing, but also the BMI thing, because like if we go back to how BMI was measured, it was done on a Caucasian population of healthy people. So we're like missing a huge variety of people there. And it was only done for, it was a very small population. So the numbers aren't very reflective. They don't account for muscle mass versus body fat distribution. They don't really account for male versus female very well. Or stage of life, like it's 18 and over kind of thing, and a lot happens especially to a woman's body during that time. So BMI is bullshit. Don't let any professional make that their guiding principle for how they treat you. If they do, run. Find someone better, because any genuine practitioner knows that yes, they might have to legally write it down and focus on it in some ways, but they shouldn't be pressuring you into BMI rubbish. So that again, like things you were told that are complete bullshit. What was it triggering to be a dietitian whilst experiencing ED? Honestly, I thrived in it because I got away with so much. You know, no one could really, people could tell, but not in the dietetics world. And like I can guarantee a lot of those people who I went through with came out with problems. I'm pretty sure even some of the teachers had problems. Like I always felt pressured to be like healthy and like on top of my nutrition, and I couldn't just have fun with food and relax with food. I had to follow all these rules. Like for a while it was kind of more that orthorexia kind of style, and a really bad exercise because I had to like eat so many grams of protein and do all this kind of stuff. It made life really awful for so many people around me. I just like the whole thing, I guess, is a trigger. And yeah, definitely like the anthropometry where we did our body fat percentage and calorie counting exams and all of that. But I happen to have a really keen interest in the mental health space, ironically, which we all know why. It's because I wanted to be a part of it. Would you suggest someone becoming a dietitian for someone who is now recovered? Oh, Bubba's upset. I think she's hungry. Honestly, I'll be back. As for me going into working into the ED space, I probably wouldn't, because I feel like I don't know. I know too many people in the space, I think, and like I said, I don't agree with the practice methods of a lot of them, and I feel like I'd be stuck doing it their way, unless I came up with my own protocol. So, but even then, that sounds so clinical and so like textbook, when I just want to treat people as a person. And I guess the way I want to help people, I can't help them as a dietitian as much as I can as like a nurse or something, or doing this. So probably not for me. Okay, I just had a break because I had to feed our little one, and she just rolled from her stomach to back. She's only 2.5 months, so she's not meant to be doing that yet. But anyway, she is my child. So last question or so. Would you suggest becoming a dietitian for someone who is now recovered? Honestly, I don't know what it's like anymore, and I don't know your circumstance. If you feel you wouldn't be triggered and you're not just using it as an excuse to learn stuff, like if you have a genuine interest in helping people and you're safe with yourself, and I guess why not? But it's not what I thought it was. I guess it's not something I can really answer for you. It's kind of something that you just need to, I don't know, explore your options and really like be solid in your recovery. And our brownie is finished. I've already had like a bite of it, but it is so good. So put it this way. Dietitian at least would never do this, just because I would have felt pressured to be healthy and that it wasn't factored into anything, and I was just really disordered at the time. So I hope this has been I know it's like a short, really quick video and I felt like I spoke really quickly, but I hope it's just, I don't know, giving you a bit of background of what dietetics was like. I can go into a lot more detail, but they were some of the key points. So it's an interesting profession. I don't know where it's going to go in the future, but it's not for me. But I hope it's just giving you a bit of light. I hope you've had a snack with me. So it's so good. I want you to know you can do this, and that even when you have so much knowledge to fuel your disorder, you can still overcome it. And this is why I think I will always struggle with thoughts, because I literally had so many things drilled into me. But I'm in a better place now, and I'm eating brownie, and I want you to be there too with me. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. I have no clue what I'm going to do next, but hopefully it involves branding. Hello, yes, it is me again, because I forgot to talk about something that's extremely important to put in this conversation around what it was like being a dietitian. My experience when I was like in treatment, because obviously you might have heard that like practitioners make the worst patients. Well, it is true in some ways, but I did get treated quite differently in some ways, I think. I had a lot of staff, not necessarily dietitians, but like staff saying like, well, you're a dietitian, you should know better. And I'm like, yeah, that's what got me in this situation in the first place. Like, it's irrelevant. It's like you wouldn't expect someone, like a doctor, to perform CPR on themselves, would you? Like, no. And, yeah. So, and the problem was that like they try these like tactics and stuff to get me to make change, but I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna work on me, because like I know all your tricks and I know all this stuff, and sorry, I'm not used to wearing such like a low cut dress. And yeah, I just knew all the tricks, especially the dietitian, and so we clashed a lot, and I think because we were both quite strong personalities, it didn't help anything. So it didn't matter what they threw at me, I knew what was going on. I knew exactly if they'd snuck things in, I knew exactly what they were trying to do, and yeah, so it made things a bit more difficult because I did have that extra knowledge. So I just wanted to add that, and yeah, they did think I should know better, and they quite got very irritated with me because I'd be like, well, you could just do this, or why are you doing, like I'd question everything, which is me anyway. I don't know if that's the dietitian part, but yeah. I promise this is the end now, and stay strong. You got this. We can do this. Well, yeah, of course we can. And yeah, that's what it was like to be a dietitian, basically, sort of, in a way. There's a lot more to it, obviously, but I'm not going to ramble too long. I talk really quickly, I've realised too. But yeah, I look forward to seeing you next time. I'm thinking maybe I should do like a recreate a food challenge or something. I don't know, something fun. It is hard filming with a baby, but we'll figure it out. I'm gonna start rambling. And thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.